I just wanted to just do like an update. First, I want to know if anybody wants to go on record and comment on the lawsuit that was filed by Michelle Gilbert at the end of December. Do you, um, and then on that realm, do you have legal representation as far as like, do you have a lawyer representing the commission and you as commissioners in the case?
It's been turned over to MoPerm, which is our insurance provider. So it will fall there. It's covered under the insurance, so it's going to fall on them.
So they'll put you in touch with an attorney, or you will find an attorney?
I understand they're going to hire the attorney. They're going to. We received a letter this morning that we're going to reply back to them. It says we are covered and that we got 10 days to respond and tell them if we do not want them to represent us, which we do. So.
And they pick up the fees on that?
Yeah.
Legal fees, okay, that's what I figured, that's what, I think that's pretty standard. And then, have you been advised not to comment by your just regular general counsel?
Yeah, I mean, anytime there's legal.
Also, very standard. Okay, well then we're gonna move on from that. If maybe, or before we do, when you do talk to counsel, let them know that you have, the media is asking for some type of a comment or statement, or if they would be willing to answer any questions, and then possibly if they'd be willing to do that, if you could please put them in touch with me, or even just let me know who it ends up being. I would really appreciate that, so I can try to communicate with them. The other thing I saw just from on the 3rd is that you guys discussed the insurance,
Consortium.
Yeah, it was my understanding that the county has switched insurance. I'm part of the Chamber of Commerce, so I kind of have, knew that the county came into the chamber, and one of the perks of being part of the Knox County Chamber is having access to the Missouri Chamber of Commerce's employee insurance program. And if you fall within this criteria, which the county does, what I'm not familiar with is, I guess, this consortium. I didn't know exactly how the last insurance worked. Are you able to talk about what's going on, with the consortium?
We're trying, I'll speak and then these guys can whatever, but we've been trying to figure this out. We can't get responses. After we had notified them end of September that we were going to be leaving, and they sent us a letter the last day of the year saying that we couldn't leave after we've already left. So we've got our attorney working on that. He's going to write them a letter. We don't know where we're at. So we're working through the legal channels to try to get straight answers as to what we can, where we're at. Because it's kind of all off the ground. It's kind of a confusing situation right now.
John and I are coming in on the tail end. We were aware, of course, from meetings before we got into office about the insurance. They kept us, informed of what they were thinking and whatnot, but we're kind of coming in with the consortium. We didn't really have no dealings with them really at all. We're just catching up.
Les, you're the right guy to,
Yeah.
You were here for all of that, and
Yeah.
these guys just came in. It says right here that you guys reviewed an email from the insurance consortium on the 30th. It was sent on the 30th. Can I have a copy of that email?
It was from a lawyer, and I don't know if we can release it or not. If you want it, I'll check and see if we can release it.
Okay.
Where it's in legal, I don't know if we can or not.
Was it
It was from an attorney to the commission. So,
So let's
copy
check.
of a letter from somebody else through an attorney to us. So, I would wanna just follow up with Ivan to
To
see if
make
that's
sure,
legal.
see if it's privileged.
See if it's, yes.
Okay,
So,
If
and
you
it's
could
in
keep-
Ivan's hands now, so I'm assuming that it's legal privilege. I would follow up with him and see.
okay, if you could find out, that would be great.
Okay.
I would appreciate that. Okay, yeah, this is all insurance stuff. Okay, is there anything, I mean, I noticed you guys are working on budget when I came in this morning. When is your budget hearing? How long, how long do you have to
I
get
think it's the
the,
24th.
That's
I think it's the 24th.
That's what I'm thinking, the same thing, it's the 24th.
and then, up to then, you're gonna be meeting with all of the county officials to discuss their budgets, right up until that point?
We
or
just
how-
received the county offices budgets this morning. That's what we're just getting good and started on going through those. So that's what we're trying to chew it up. I said it's trying to get these guys up to speed and trying to figure, like I said, we're just starting. We've done a little work on general, we've done a little work on road and bridge, and we've done some on capital improvement. But the meat and potatoes of the budget, we just got this morning.
Okay. While we're in discussions of budget, I was just in Jefferson City on Wednesday for the opening of the legislative session, and there was a little bit of buzz about the possibility of eliminating personal property tax. Have you heard anything along those lines? Do you have thoughts on that you care to share?
I have mixed feelings. I don't know. I haven't heard nothing. I don't know nothing legally or anything. I think great.
Yeah, I'm
Everybody
thinking
loves
just
the idea
buzz.
of no
Like
taxes.
I've not seen any bills or
Yeah,
proposals
but I also
or
know what
anything.
that tax dollars goes for, and if we do away with that, we have to have something way to.
And no revenue.
Yeah, they
That
have to
was
make
one
it up
of
with
the
something else.
concerns is
Yeah.
that it would really hurt rural
Mm-hmm.
governments who rely on those tax dollars to function. So
Yeah.
You hear so much
mm,
until it gets, I don't pay a lot of attention to all the noise until it starts coming closer.
once they start getting into committee and start getting debated and then have a chance to hit the floor, and, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's a pretty long process, which we're just getting started with.
It was talked out about a little bit at our newly elected officials training by the MAC people, and that they're, what do you call them, lobbyists are involved in all that too, but. Yeah. I don't
It's
know.
still really early,
Yeah.
right? Really early. And then I just wanted to also put a bug in your ear. This is a story that I plan to start working on in the very near future. As you know, over in Lewis County, around the holidays, we had an active shooter situation, which our law enforcement was at and assisting with and helping with, and bullets were whizzing by them. And something that has stuck out to me in kind of the 10,000 foot view coverage of what happened there is the lack of equipment that rural sheriff's offices and police departments have access to, namely bulletproof helmets. So that is something that I'm gonna be investigating on a larger scale, possibly with the help of my publisher, to kind of discuss with our law enforcement leaders about what they have on hand and what they need, and asking questions like, do we need to buy this equipment for them to keep them protected when in situations like this? Just since that situation, I've already heard about 2 or 3 more in our region, one in Clark County, one in Kirksville, you know. So that's a conversation that I'm gonna kind of try to launch off with, not just them, but also you, since you're holding the purse strings. You know, as far as you know, is it time to get these law enforcement officers protective gear that we have not had historically, but we seem to be living in a world where it looks like we probably need it, you know, to keep them safe, because it was fairly disturbing to hear that the SWAT team asked, "Where's your helmets?" And the response was, "We don't have any." You know, like,
Yeah.
and that specific situation, there were a lot of bullets were fired. You know what I mean? And a lot of law enforcement in the area, and it would be nice to know that our guys
Yeah.
have what they need to do their job. You know.
Nice to know if they feel like they need more, or
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that that's something, equipment that the sheriff would put in his budget.
It's kind of what Bill said.
Yeah, I would think.
I asked that or no, Carl,
Mhm.
he says he's looked into grants for that kind of stuff, about updating vests and stuff like that, but
I know you guys are just getting into it, but I fully expect him to have that in this budget.
Yeah.
I know he'd asked for, or was wanting newer vests, cause I think the old ones are about expired or were expired, but other than that, I don't know what he's asking for yet, so.
Yeah, you guys just got him in, so I don't expect you to
I
know
don't think
that
we
off the top of your head.
we don't have.
Yeah, but I do just want to kind of give
Yeah.
like fair warning. This
Yeah.
is coming down the pike. This is something I'll be working on, hopefully in the
If there's
near
something we can
future.
help you with, we'd gladly help.
Perfect. All right. Is there anything you guys want to?
Yeah, I've got something I wanna, our, FEMA grant that we submitted for work to be completed. What we had submitted was $294,319.78. And I received an email at 4:45 last night that our FEMA grant has been approved. It needs to be signed, and I wanna put it on the agenda for Monday. We'll review this, and, I don't know why we wouldn't sign it. We've been approved, the gross cost is $294,319.78. So that's the FEMA road work to be completed, part of our FEMA grant. And I got this, like I said, I seen the email last night at 4:45. It needs to be signed and sent back to them. But,
Can you send me a copy of that?
yeah, it's coming off of Grants Portal, and I know that's a secure.
Is it possible to just print it out?
Monday, we will approve it, and then I'll just send it to you then, whatever we sign and send back. But what the email was, $294,319.78.
And then is that all of the requested funds that we put in for
That is all of the work to be completed.
2023? That has not been completed yet.
Right. We've got zero. There's a process to protest the rejection of the first funds that were applied for. But as of right now, that's a zero, and if we wanna go through the appeals process, we had to wait till we got to here before we could even appeal it.
Have you already sent me a copy of the rejection?
I sent you the email that they sent me, there was like 3 emails because I wanted to nail it down.
Okay.
That it was,
There's no like
Yeah.
official letter that they
Yes.
sent.
the way it was, I don't wanna say the answer was wishy-washy, it just wasn't cut and dried, so I kept asking the question a different way. And then I stayed on them until they said, yes, it's been rejected. And then there's an attachment for the appeals process is attached to that, but we couldn't appeal it till we got to this point.
Okay.
So we'll have to discuss it. It looks to me like the appeals process is a lot of work. We've already put quite a lot of work into this. But
So
About half of that is rock, about half of that is other stuff.
how much money is still kind of in limbo on, how much, what hunk was on the rejection end of it as far as,
The the papers was all over, that number it was down to, I believe, 22,000. But that number kept dropping because when on their end, the paperwork wasn't complete, the paperwork wasn't there. So they kept dropping that number. The last number, I think I sent you that total, was 22,000. I did. I emailed you that
yeah, you
total.
sent me the email stream, so that's,
That was down to 22,000, and then they rejected that as well.
and so basically what we're looking at is work that was done versus work that has yet to be done.
Right.
Is that what's, and
And
this
so-
is from like the storm season of 23,
The bearing tornado.
the Bering tornado, and that, there was a period of,
Right.
Yeah.
that kind of extended a little before and after the actual tornado that,
I think it's either 12 or 15 days from the
it
first
started at
day.
the end of July and it
Yeah.
ended into August, I remember too. And
Yeah.
if I look back, I probably have the emergency declaration from the governor still.
Yeah, I know, I got
Mhm.
decorations and all the paperwork and that part of it.
Okay, so just to be clear, have you started the appeals process or you're still kind of weighing it
I just
out?
got this at 4:45 last night, and we need to,
Decide.
we need to put it on the agenda. And the document has to be signed. I'm the one that has to sign it, but I didn't wanna do that without your all's approval. I can't imagine why we wouldn't, but we'll talk about it, and we'll put it on the agenda for Monday to approve it, to vote, to discuss it and possible vote. And then, once we get that, then we go to the next step and we'll just start working our way through it. That does not include administrative fees. One of the other counties got about 10% administrative fees on top of that grant. I don't know if we'll be able to get that as well, but anyway, I'm thrilled with the, $300,000 gonna go to our roads and bridges, and it's going into the rock fund, but that frees up funds other places. But one of the problems that creates for us is now we've got a lot more work to do.
Yeah.
So when we was talking about moving machinery around and what we was gonna do and our help, and this changes everything.
Mhm.
So anyway, I think it's all good news.
And that came in last night?
I got it at 4:45 last night when I seen the email. So,
Okay. Can you send me a copy of that email?
yeah, I can send you, I think I can send you
Forward
the
it,
email.
you just forward
And
me
then
the.
the grants portal part, I don't know if I can send you that.
Let's just to kind of simplify things, how about if you just, when you, on Monday, discuss it and sign it, if you could make a copy of it, the hard copy of it for me, and I'll run over and grab it, that would be ideal. I'll be on deadline on Monday and I cannot make any promises, I can try to be here for it, that would be great. I will try to be here for it, but I'm on deadline and so, I can't promise that I'll be here. Okay, and then the other decision to make is whether to go through the appeals process for what's left, which is roughly $22,000, which may not be, with a big hunk of 294,000.
No,
Is
that's
it
not part
worth-
of the 294, that's over and above.
Right, but I'm just saying the question is really, is it worth spending the time it will take to collect that extra,
Right.
which is gonna turn out to be kind of a smaller percentage of the bigger piece of the pie, right? And
The way I see it.
and without looking, I feel like that's pretty comparable to what our neighboring county commissions have received from FEMA on this particular. I'll try to do some checking and see just where everybody was at, because all of their money started getting released this summer, in the summertime. It's probably late spring, early summer is when we started hearing that the FEMA funds were coming in. So we're a good 6+ plus months behind the ball from that, from FEMA. So,
And we know why that was. We know why we're so far behind, because our stuff got looked at a lot harder. Our stuff went through different channels than everybody else's. So
ours
that's
went
why-
through a federal investigation.
Yeah, that's what I was told. That was, yeah, that we were investigated. There was nobody contacted me, but it slowed the process down a lot. I was told we were looked at, by federal investigators. They never contacted me as far as I know. I don't know if they contacted Ronnie or Luther, I don't wanna speak for that, but that's the reason we're 6 months behind.
And that kind of circles back to the legal matter.
Right.
So.
Just saying, that's the reason, you know, we've tried to get this through, tried to get it through. We wanted to get a bunch of that rock on this last fall, and we just couldn't get it. And so finally, we got it.
Okay, well, very good. That'll give me something to follow up on as well. Is there anything else you guys want to add before I peel out? Is there? I know. Let's talk about county roads and snow removal. Can we just? I mean, can you kind of give me a quick rundown of how this first big snow was dealt with? You know, how close are we? Have we got all the roads cleared? How long did it take to clear the roads?
We haven't talked with Chris yet, the road and bridge supervisor, to find out where they're at exactly on it.
All the ones I've been on have been opened up, so.
Yeah. So I don't have an accurate answer to tell you how many they've got opened up and what they're still going, but they're working.
And for people watching, just to kind of recap, Knox County has roughly 525 miles of county road to clear. How many road and bridge crew members do we have? 5?
6 or 7.
6 or
Like
7?
or 8.
He said before 8, but.
Yeah, I think it's 7 or 8.
7 or 8, which is a pretty big lift. When, you know, I measured 6 to 8 inches here just in Edina. It varies widely in the country, especially with drifting, so that could be.
What's great, I think it was the further south it went, the bigger the total was, well, more snow.
Have you heard any community members, you know, asking to have their road clear, or have heard of it taking longer than usual? That's a good sign.
Yeah, I
That's a
know.
pretty good sign,
Yeah.
because they usually will call in and,
Yeah, that's
and
what I
you know, is my road gonna be
We haven't
clear?
got no eatings, or however you're gonna say it, you know,
This morning.
chewings.
Okay, so if you could just kind of be mindful when you do talk to Chris, if you could just be mindful to think about that. I would love to do something on the impact of this first big snow and how quickly it was cleared, and then we could report that and just stamp it in the history book for posterity for this big storm. Hopefully it's the biggest storm of the year, who knows?
Yes, yes,
Too much snow for me already.
yeah, hopefully it's the last one.
I wanted to tell everyone to take a good look at the ground before it happened, because you know we might not see it for a while.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and turn this video off for now. I'm Menges for the Edina Sentinel and NemoNews.net. Thank you for watching.